What'll you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon.
What'll you have?
Pabst Blue Ribbon. What'll you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon. Pabst Blue Ribbon beer.
Smoother, smoother, smoother flavors, zest and sparkle, millions.
Welcome to Pabst Interview, Blue Ribbons, Red Zones. I am KO Kyle Olson, and I'm joined, as always, and for the first time in probably a month, by my co-host and my opponent for this week, Chad. Welcome back to the show.
I am excited to be here, Kyle. Like you said, it's been about a month, I think, since we have both sat down for the show. Excited to hash it out. We had AIJ and Kyle, who has not been on the show before, and followed it up with Travis returning to the show, and then Red Panda, which you'd think he was an actual Red Panda with the limited amount of vocabulary and talking that he did, while not only low in quantity, low in quality, but we were sure to reestablish this podcast in its quality and its quantity and the hierarchy in what we believe that this league is when it comes to the brains and the mouths of this league. That's why you are here, that's why I am here, and that's why we are here with our guest returning, the man that spent his money to spoil the league with the likes of Red Zone's only Scott Hansen, taking the time out of his busy professional and personal life to provide what would say a sonnet or a tome that he provides us every week with the updated power rankings, the look ahead, the awards for the week. The one, the only, the honorary Beastie Boy, the N-Rock, I would call him, Nick Stumbris. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Yeah, glad to be here. Podcast, talk football, try not to waste too much time, see how it goes.
And we really can't steal your content this week because you're here, so it's perfect.
Last time he was coming off of 36 holes of golf and a bunch of drinks. Right now it seems like he's on Vicodin and NyQuil. He's a little quiet, but we'll see what we can get out of him.
It
Yeah,
seems like it's the week before Thanksgiving, and we all work in retail.
we had a tough week last week, no question about it. Didn't execute, didn't finish, didn't put ourselves in a position to win. But that's behind us now. We're on to week 12. We're on to McMillan softly. That's where my focus is.
He's channeling his inner hoodie here. I don't know how to feel about that. Speaking of McMillan softly, Travis kind of got away with one last week. He got the win. I got to give him his credit, his flowers for that. He got away with one last week, being on with you and Ian, being able to kind of say whatever he wanted to say last week. He had even made comments more than once about, oh, man, I'm sure Kamish would have something to say here. Oh, I'm sure Chad would have something to say here. And he's absolutely right. I got to give him his credit. Even every short bus rider gets his hands on a grilled cheese every now and again. So I'm happy to see that Travis got his grilled cheese last week. Needed one of his best weeks he's had this season just to beat me on my worst week I have had this season. Don't get me wrong, you beat the brakes off me. Congratulations on your big win. Guess the commish took one off not only from the podcast but from This Week in Fantasy as well. But we're looking ahead. But before we do that, let's take a look at last week.
We don't need it. No, we don't need it.
Oh no, we're gonna have to take a look. Let's start with Vikes report sickos. A sub 100 team. I mean, across the board, like Nick said in his power rankings and in the update from last week, you either doled out the whooping or you took the whooping. Jay, sub 100, show me them TDs. As inconsistent as runny eggs, he showed up for almost 150 last week. Festival has Rats on a weaker, softer performance than usual at 112 over Teal's 82 points. Angry Black Man at 135, looking good. KO just squeaked over with 101. Oh, the broom. Okay, you swept him. Yeah.
Nope, he swept me. He
Oh,
swept me
did
on
he?
the seat. I've
Oh.
lost twice to him now. He beat me in week 2. He swept me. Full on
Bummer.
broom.
And darts out of the forest. You got away with what was 7 points over the vintage Stumpy Reserve. That continues to age like fine milk. Nick, any notes from last week?
Yeah, a lot of teams last week learned that they need to just play better, right? Like you can't score 80 and expect to win. Need to coach better, need to play better. Just wasn't enough. Saw a lot of effort, didn't see a lot of results. Can't win if you don't show up.
I don't like this version of Nick. Kind of weirded out right now. All right, Kyle, what do you got for us?
Marshawn Lynch version of Nick is crazy. Listen, man. I got my 3 superstars on my team. 2 of them showed up, one of them did not, and the rest of my team just didn't do anything. And that's where I'm at. My team can make a run, but do I trust it to make the run? No. That's where I'm at. Genuinely.
Yeah, run in your fucking pants, maybe.
That's what it did last week. I mean, again, McCaffrey, Lamar Jackson, and Trey McBride. Those are my superstars, and they should be able to put up every week. Lamar didn't this week. He's playing the Jets this coming week. I expect a bigger performance out of that. But he's also got a fucking injury with his ankle, so who knows what's happening there. Ashton Genty doesn't have a line to run behind. Rashee Rice, I trust him against, that was Denver's defense. He should put up more points. Khalil Shakir, I might as well drop his ass. He doesn't even exist. So thanks for that, Chad. And Rome Odunze, Caleb Williams is one of my most favorite hate watches. I think I mentioned that on the podcast last week, and it continued this week, but now to my detriment because I now rely on Rome Odunze. So, again, I don't know. I like my team. They can make a run, but I don't trust it. So it's not going to happen. My team sucks. That's where I'm at, and I'm not even going to shit talk anymore because I have nothing to shit talk.
I'm curious to see what we look at next week. Like Nick said, we're looking ahead. We're looking ahead to McMillan 'em softly. Vintage Summer Reserve is one of those scary teams that feast or famine could turn around, and to Travis's credit as well, and to detriment, a feast or famine team. He can come out and put up 146 on the commish when, I put up 85, but next week, Stumpy has a week, and Baker Mayfield and Judkins goes off, and he's got a 120-point week. Travis could turn around and drop 95 points on a big stinker. It's happened before. We've seen it. I went back and looked to be able to make my comments about his team. He is up and down and up and down and up and down. Every single week, he's got the definition of a feast or famine team, which is why he's at 6-5. Vintage Stumpy Reserve has done a lot more famining than feasting. However, keeping it interesting. Obviously, we appreciate everything you do for the league. Oh, man. Is that a cutoff hood? Oh, he went full commit. Is there sleeves off of that hoodie?
No. Travis, that's a good team. They've got Drake May playing quarterback. He's on scholarship. Bijan, tough runner. CeeDee Lamb, elite player. Hedgehogs, very scrappy, fundamentally sound. Kittle, good tight end, physical player, very physical player. Tet McMillan, yep, he's Tet McMillan. But look, we're not worried about point spreads. Point spreads don't matter. Scores don't matter. Projections don't matter. Only thing that matters is execution. And also, Travis may be favored by 41, but I've seen a lot of football games before. Anything can happen. I could lose by 60.
Truer words have never been spoken. The good news was not only did you have the special teams Travis on there eating his grilled cheese and talking his shit, you also had the marble mouth blueberry pancake red panda sitting there. I thought we had Helen Keller on the way that nothing was being said. I thought we had somebody who was dumb, deaf, and mute. I love the guy to death, but he was about as quiet during that podcast as he is during the week in the group chat.
there's only so many things that I can like prompt people with, right? Like throw to the guest, and Travis was doing his best. Listen, some people are cut out for the mic.
We can. Do we want to look ahead to the NFL and then the league, or do we want to talk about last week? Because even though the Packers won and the Seahawks did not, I would be happy to talk about last week. If you want to.
We can. I'll be honest. I didn't even really watch much of the Packer game. I had Red Zone on. I was at a friend's house, so we were watching Red Zone more than the Packers. So I got to see what they were showing from Red Zone. I knew that was a little bit of a trap game from the Packers with Jameis, but I also figured that we'd be able to get at least one takeover or turnover. So I don't know. I still think we need to perform better, and the receiver drops this week were terrible. So if we can clean that up, let Jordan Love throw the ball, and yeah, we'll talk about the Vikings game in a second here. But
yeah, so we'll talk about
how do you feel about your Seahawks? Because
no, hold it. Wait.
Okay.
We're not.
Okay,
No.
okay.
We're not grazing over this.
Okay.
The Packers go up against a Giants team. Starting quarterback, not there. Cam Scatabo, not there. Highlight, wide receiver, Neighbors, not there. Going against famous Jameis. You're going against an absolute dog shit team. And again, if it wasn't for the defense, they would have lost that game. The Packers should have performed far better against that Giants team. At the beginning of the year, that is a trap game. But now, it's a game that you are battling in. You guys battled against a team that is not that good.
Yes.
There are a lot of things about this Packers team that are good, but they need to be proven. They need to be fleshed out. Then you come off this week like, holy cow, what a scare. If Jordan Love is the guy, that's a scare. With him getting hurt, Josh Jacobs, what do we know about that? Like, not only did you guys come out of that game, like, you got the W, that's awesome. 7 points, that's fine. At the end of the day, you guys do get that. But come out of that game really banged up, headed into a tough divisional schedule. Don't you guys play the Vikings twice, the Bears once, and the Lions one more time?
Yeah, we've only played the Lions once. I think that's our only divisional game that we've played so far.
Got 5 divisional games to wrap up.
We play the Vikings, the Lions, the Bears, the Broncos, the Bears, and then the Ravens and the Vikings. That's our schedule.
Coach, what do you have to say from the Green Bay game this week?
I think they did enough to win the football game. Wouldn't call it good. Wouldn't call it pretty. Wouldn't call it enjoyable. But it was enough. Because, we won. Doesn't mean we're satisfied. Still a lot to clean up. Like, a lot. Executed at times. Other times, not so much. Some drives looked professional. Some drives looked like week 1 preseason. So, had some rhythm here and there. Made some throws. Ran it a little, football stuff. Still too many penalties. Still too many missed assignments. Still too many moments where I stared at the play sheet wondering why I chose this profession. Got to give the Giants credit. They played hard. They pressured. They made some plays. They also made some interesting choices. Helped us out a bit. We'll look at the tape. All 3 phases. See what needs adjusting. Probably most of it. We'll enjoy it for about 4 seconds. And then we're on to Minnesota. That's the job.
Whether he's sitting in on this podcast or at his 24-year-old girlfriend's co-ed cheerleading competition, we always love to hear from Coach. Coming off talking about the Packers, so talking about a team that played a shitty team and played poorly but got the win, turn on the other side, and I'm going to say this, and everyone, I'll take the heat in the chat tomorrow. I don't give a shit. We played one of the best teams in the league last week. We had an absolutely shit game. Darnold had his worst game that we've seen this season. 4 interceptions, awful game. Lost by 2 points. Honestly, You never. I'm not the guy to ever be like, oh, it's a good loss. We had it coming. I'm not that guy. Fuck that. Win the game. However, if I had to lose a game, shitty that it's in division, but to a Rams team that's blowing the doors off like Seattle is, I think I'd be even more upset if it was like a boat race and we're talking like 41-42 and they lose the game like it's right there. Seattle had no business winning that game. We played poorly. It was a bad game defensively, offensively. It didn't look good. The shining stars again will continue to shine. The stars looked good. Darnold, I think he shakes this one off and moves ahead. Hopefully this one doesn't live in his subconscious after this. But I think we're going to be just fine. We're going to be moving on from this.
Yeah. Competitive early. Game got away situationally. Rams executed. Seattle didn't. Seattle showed flashes. Flashes don't win football games. Sparkler's still not a bonfire. Darnold looked like a guy who was one bad read away from throwing the ball in Lake Washington. Defense tackled like they're trying to hug ghosts. Rams didn't do anything special, just waited for Seattle to beat itself, and they obliged. On to the next one.
Thanks, Coach. Yeah, it was an ugly game to watch. I'm glad I watched on Red Zone. The Rams are a good team. Like like you nailed it on the head. Like the Rams, I think, need to be considered one of the top teams in the NFL right now. The way that they're playing, the way that Devontae Adams has added to that offense. Their defense is a little injured. Should get some people back for the playoffs already looking at that. But it was a litmus test, right? You want to see where you compete with not only the top team in your division, but a top team in the NFL. You're right there. Sam Darnold can't collapse like that. He can't throw 4 interceptions. But we've also seen a Seattle quarterback throw 4 interceptions and beat some great teams in the playoffs. So things can happen. It was a close game. You had a chance to win it. I think you're right. I would not feel down if I was a Seahawks fan about that loss. It sucks. Like, any loss hurts, right? But it's also like, we really could have won that if 1 or 2 different plays goes the other way. It's just the way the football bounces on a Sunday. So, but it's still fun. You lost, so fuck you.
Well, the good news is we'll turn around, and if you want to watch it on Red Zone or if you want to watch the full game, you'll be seeing the same amount because Darnold's going to bounce back, and we're playing the Titans. So I'm sure that'll be a. I love that term, boat race. I love that barn burner. I think we're going to be putting up big numbers.
Thank God that's not
games next week.
To see any of that.
I think the Bills are going to smack down the Texans. Same Seahawks to the Titans. Ravens are probably going to do the same treatment to the Jets. I think the Lions will do the same to the Giants. But I think the big games we have this upcoming week, Colts and Chiefs at noon, will be a big game. Vikings and Packers at noon in division will be exciting. Joe Burrow sounds like potentially coming back to face off against the Patriots will be big. We got a couple of wishy-washies with the Jaguars and Cardinals, Eagles, Cowboys, Panthers, 49ers, and then some interesting ones out there like the Buccaneers and Rams. We'll see what happens there. Coach, what are we thinking about Colts and Chiefs or Vikings and Packers for next week?
They're fast. They stress you horizontally, vertically, every direction. Mahomes extends plays, gets the ball out late, finds the open windows. Hard to defend for more than 3 seconds. Good team speed. They capitalize on mistake. Can't give them free yards. Colts, they're physical. They want to run downhill, keep the game on schedule, minimize possessions. They get into 2nd and 3, 3rd and 2, you're playing their game. They shorten it. They keep Mahomes off the field. That's how you beat Kansas City. You let them start playing from behind the sticks, though, it becomes tougher. This comes down to situational football. 3rd down, red zone, 2-minute. The Colts kick field goals, they'll lose. Pretty simple. You need touchdowns to stay with Kansas City. Not many teams do that consistently.
Totally. I'm excited for this game because Kansas City's defense has been lights out. But the Colts, offense has been lights out, mostly because of Jonathan Taylor, but the resurgence of Danny Dimes, and the really great play by Alec Pierce, who seems to be their number one wide receiver. You know, Pittman seems to be I don't know. It's very interesting. I'm shocked that this game hasn't been flexed out of the noon slot to be put in a more primetime game, but this could have some big, like, if the Colts are able to walk into Arrowhead and win and go to 9-2, the Chiefs are currently not in the playoffs. Like, this could have huge huge impact in the playoff bracket, but if the Chiefs are able to stay alive and take down Colts, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. I'm very intrigued by that game. I want to talk about the Packer game. Packers Vikings. This is only our second divisional game coming into Week 12. I do think we fare well. I'm not. I don't want to say I'm not scared, but it's a divisional game. It'll always be close. But J.J. McCarthy has not looked good in his games back from injury, and even in his games pre-injury, he had that one good quarter, and that's about it. He crumbles under pressure, and that's what the Packers have been able to do well, especially with Lucas Van Ness potentially coming back for this game. That's another body that we can rotate in, more fresh rushers. That should be good for our defense, and we're probably good for a turnover or two. We've had a turnover in the last 5 games, I believe. Our offense against that defense is what I'm worried about. If Romeo Doubs can catch, then we'll be okay. If Christian Watson can play like he was playing last week, then we'll be okay. Josh Jacobs was limited today in practice. It's a Wednesday practice. I try not to read into that. A lot of people, especially older players, will take days off on Wednesdays, so that's fine. The fact that he was out there at all makes me feel good. Jordan Love, however, was a full participant, even with his shoulder, so I feel good about that as well. I feel good about the Vikings coming to us with this game. I'm kind of hoping it's cold and getting a dome team out on Lambeau Field when it's cold out. I don't like when I feel confident about a Packers game, because that's normally when, we play the Browns or the Panthers and we lose. But I ultimately do feel good with a 6-point favoring from the sports books, if I could talk. Yeah, other than that, I do want to mention, I'm wearing my Jags hat. I got to mention the Jags game. I'm scared. I'm terrified of Jacoby Brissett, and he's probably going to throw. I think he's going to break his own record from last week. Complete 50-some passes against us. I don't think our offense can do what they did again last week. I don't know how our offense put up 35 against the Chargers last week. I don't know where that came from. If Tootin's healthy, he looks like a great running back. If Brian Thomas Jr. is healthy, he's going to drop 5 passes, so that might hurt us. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what this Jaguars team is. They remind me a lot of my own fantasy team, where they show up some weeks, and then a lot of weeks they look like ass. So I really don't know what to expect from this game. They're favored by 3 on the road. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know. It should be fun football, at least.
Yeah. Jacoby Brissett, big guy, strong in the pocket, doesn't get rattled easily. You don't wrap him up, he'll bounce off and extend the play. Accurate when he's on schedule. If you make a mistake in coverage, he'll take the shot. He's dependable. Veteran player. He's won games in this league. He's not going to force a lot of bad balls. He's going to take what's there. He's a pro.
It sounds like you were describing Ben Roethlisberger there.
Speaking of pros, we got some big matchups this week. Coming off the heels of a tough loss. 2 teams at 9-2, right? So we got the Commish and Fest as Rats. Okay? 9-2. Both of them favored to win, but 2 teams that have been not only strong through the season, but also in the last couple of weeks. Looking at KO, strong team through the season. Show me them TDs has been strong in the last couple of weeks. So we got to give him his flowers. That could be a big challenge. I mean, are we turning teams to 10-2 or are we turning teams to 9-3? Who knows? Separation from there, we got a lot of balance. Teal the Love at 2-9 could be a wild upset for Vikes Report Sickles. And if you go down to 5-7 at this point in the year, I don't know if you're fighting back after that. Huge upset alert. I'm looking at these last 2 games, right? So Vintage Stumpy Reserve versus McMillan Softly. Like I said, feast or famine on both sides of that matchup. I think this can go either way. I don't want to hear some shit. 77% to 23%, 2-9, 6-5. I don't want any of that. Because anything can happen on Thursday, Sunday, Monday. Okay? And last but not least, Dark Side of the Force and Team Angry Black Man, a 5-6, a 6-5, 6-7, 6-7. We'll see what happens. We got some good matchups this upcoming week. But as the power rankings said, we got 2 9-2s, 3 6-5s, 3 5s and 6s, and 2 2-9s. Talking about balance in our lives, balance in the chakras. Thanks, Avatar Aang and Guru Patik.
It's tight. Real competitive group. 6 teams, 1 game apart. Everybody's got something to play for. Every matchup matters. Every point matters. Whoever minimizes mistakes, executes situational football, they'll separate. Right now, it's all noise. Let the next few weeks sort it out.
Not only that, but we're coming up close on playoff time. Like, with the top 2 teams at 9-2 clinching a spot already, and so many teams sitting at 6-5. Most of them will probably make it, but like anyone could go on a slump and miss the playoffs out of this. So we got some really important matchups coming this way. Yeah, and I don't feel great about this week. I really don't.
I wouldn't feel great either.
Yeah. You get Jonathan Taylor coming back from the bye. I have Ashton Jency playing Cleveland, and he already couldn't put up points against Dallas, who, again, I guess has a good run defense. But yeah. I don't know. I don't feel good. I just had to pick up Jacoby Brissett because Lamar Jackson might not be, he's got an ankle injury. So I might have to start the brisket man at quarterback.
We got a handful of guys that are losing focus. Some boys are going to be out in the woods, lost in the trees. If I can quote the great coach, we got to focus on football. We got to do what we need to do to get that W. And if we can't, if we're drinking beers and shooting guns, I don't know if we can get there. Festival as rats, Wisco Cheese Wheel, or whatever the hell you are, Kraft Yak and Cheese. The fact that he has so many cheese and dairy-based team names is weird to me, but that's fine. He's from Green Bay. I get it. Dark Side of the Force now. We got some spicy ball coming up the next couple of weeks here, guys. We're going to get excited. We're going to get exciting. Who knows? I might have call up our boy Scott Hansen to see about prepping the playoffs for us. I don't have the money for it, but maybe I'll sell my firstborn. We'll see. We'll go from there.
Coach, how are the playoffs looking from your eyes?
Playoffs? Playoffs? You talking about playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? We need to get our guys in better positions to succeed. At the end of the day, we're just not scoring enough points. But we're focused on the things that we can control, and we're taking it 1 week at a time. We're building something here. It's a good football team over there. We're not panicking. We just have to control what we can control.
Before we close things out, and I think we're at that point in the show, I don't give a fuck if it's in the group chat, if it's in the sleeper chat, or it's on this show. Be fully prepared that whether it's racist, whether it's slighting the intellectually deprived, the commish holds no bars against anybody. No one is safe. No one will be protected. There's a group of people called the Summit that helps me make all my decisions for the league. That's why we don't do votes anymore. Y'all exist in this league. All 9 of you. You are welcomed into this. But I will tell you, I will beat you down and tear you apart. More than I ever have to any other opponent or villain in my life. And I know that sounds ominous, but I just want you to be prepared for when that trophy sits on my shelf. It will be unbearable for the rest of you.
It already is.
Yeah, well, we're not really worried about that. We're focused on our team, trying to have a good week of preparation, execute, and do our job. Whatever you're doing with bars or no bars, that's your thing. We're just on to the next matchup. We're good.
Well said, Coach. And with that, everyone, thank you all for listening once again to this incredible week. We will see you all next week. This has been the Pabst Interview. Blue Ribbons, Red Zones. Adios.